guys, and welcome back to an Actor's Notebook. So, this week we're going to be talking about something that actually someone asked in the comments section, and I've just been so busy I didn't get a chance to write them back. And then when I was going to write them back, I realized that this is going to be way too long to write. So I figured, I might as well just do a vlog about it, because maybe other people have this too. And it was something that I never did a vlog of because I just didn't think about it until now. So, as you can see by the description below, we're going to be talking about the difference between theater and film. Now, there's a huge difference, and it's more than just one has to do with like someone filming you on a camera for a television or whatever device you're watching it on, or someone just seeing it live. It's very different in many ways. Even the writing, if you're a playwright and a screenwriter, those are very different things. Some playwrights are also screenwriters. Many are not, and it doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just a different form of writing, and it also has different. It's a different format for the writing. It's a different. When you're writing for television, almost anything is possible, because you realistically, like, you can go to different locations. You're not stuck in like a theater space and only limited to what you can physically make happen on the stage. So that comes into play. Also, it's just very different. The scripts are very different. Your script and then your play, they're going to be completely different, which is why it's two different professions, playwriting and screenwriting. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about it more from an actor's point of view. I might add some like general points of view in there, just like as an audience member and as someone who knows very different aspects of both of these like fields. I might do it more general, but it's because this is the Actor's Notebook. I'm going to try and keep it more to acting. So when you're acting in a theater, you are physically in front of the audience. It's not like you can't pretend they're not there. They're there, and they are watching you. And you don't get multiple takes. You get one take. You get one night. Now, don't get me wrong. You could be performing this for, the 200th time on Broadway or whatever. And each night will be different because there's a different audience. And when the audience is physically in the room with you, there's a vibe that you all share. The audience will collectively give off a vibe of what is atmosphere's vibe of what's gonna happen that night. How tight is the air? You know what I mean? How warm is it? How many people are laughing? When other people laugh, sometimes it gives permission for somebody else to laugh. Like, it's for that night, because there's a different audience every night. Every night will be different because as an actor on the stage, you play off that audience. They will laugh at different moments. They will cry at different moments than the other audience. So your audience is honestly another cast. Like, it's another cast member in a way, because it just makes a huge difference. So it's another thing to play with and kind of mold to. Now, also, when you are acting in theater, your acting has to be bigger, because theaters, the seating arrangement, you have to make sure that everyone can kind of see you, even if they can't physically see your face, which you will not always be able to see that person's face. As an audience member who have been in like nosebleed seats, like way in the back, sometimes I fully relied on what the actor is doing physically and how they are expressing themselves vocally, because I can't see their face. Now, when you're doing film, it is all about your face. All about your face. You are conveying emotions mainly through your eyes. Your eyes are the window to your soul. When you're staring at a camera and you are giving them everything and you're expressing all this pain and hate and joy through your eyes, they are connecting with you. They are seeing into your soul. And it's so you can be, well, you have to be less. You can't be bigger than life on film. You just can't, because then it'll seem fake, like you're doing too much. You know what I mean? Now, when you're doing it on theater and you're making these big gestures, it still has to be authentic and real. So that means it has to be rooted in a real place. So, and honestly, when you're doing these moments and you're having these kind of like expressing yourself through your body, it can't be so much so to where it looks like, wow, that's weird. You know, it has to always be kind of in tune with the character. And with the moment, you know what I mean? But it should always be expressive and be able to be seen from like the last seat in the darkest part of the theater. So you have to keep that in mind. Also with film, like I said, in theater you have an audience. With film, you don't necessarily have an audience. You have other people there who are also working, and they can act as your audience, but mostly you rely on your director's instruction and critiques. You rely on the camera. Your camera is another kind of ensemble in a way, like another cast member that you are working with and that you can play off of. Also, because when you're saying some of these like monologues to your acting partner, oftentimes your acting partner might not even be there. You might not even be looking at him. You could just be looking at a camera. You have to know how to play off that, and you have to also know what your acting partner did, so you have to be very present. You have to be present in both, but you have to know what your acting partner did in response while you're doing that monologue so that you can be cohesive with it. You know what I mean? Which brings me to another point. Editing in film. So, of course, in film, unlike theater, you have more than one take, but you also have the ability to edit. And an editor is literally like a saving grace. They can make something that was kind of okay into something that is like bomb. So that's another thing that film has that theater just doesn't. You have that one moment, that one night. And for a lot of actors, the reason why they love theater is because of that fact. Because it's never perfect. And something is always there to surprise you. It's literally like an actor's playground. Anything can go wrong and everything can go right. And you don't know. You just step on that stage. You have done the work. You have done the weeks and hours of rehearsal. You have done the character development on this play. You have worked with it. You have become a family with your castmates, with your director, with your stage manager, with your lighting designer. You have been a cohesive part of creating this entire world, and now you just have to go out and you have to risk it all every single night. Isn't that fun? It's like literally going on a roller coaster every night, because every day will be different. Some days will be like, man, that was one of the worst shows we've ever done. The next night could be the best show you've ever done. So it's literally I can't explain it. It's literally like just the best feeling in the world. And it's scary. It is so scary, especially for actors who mainly have done film, because you forget that rush and you are used to being able to have multiple takes to get it perfect. Also, I think it's easier for theater actors to transition over to film actors because it's easier to lessen what you do, but keep it rooted in the same thing, than to kind of figure out a way to be bigger. You know, you can always get smaller. It's harder to be larger. Every acting teacher I've ever known has told me that. I know personally, as someone who is a theater actor and who has done some film, for me, the transition was a little bumpy, but I mean, they would just tell me, can you do it smaller? And I'd be like, okay. And part of me felt like I was losing my power. But I had to remember that my power doesn't come from, physically giving everything. You can physically give something and just make it smaller but still have the same impact. You know what I mean? And just look at it with your eyes and find that power in your eyes. For me, it was a bumpy transition, but it happened rather fast for me to figure out the difference. And now snapping between the two, because I'm mostly doing auditions and working between the two, it is easy for me to act for theater and with that casting director and then switch over and act for film with another. It's easy. But I have known some people who are rooted in film who have tried to do theater, and they said you're really good, but no one's going to be able to see what you're doing, and no one's going to be able to hear you. Articulation is very important in theater. If you have ever done any outside theater, bless you. Bless you outside with no microphones. That is how you hone your skills with your pronunciation, with your articulation, and your volume, and you using that diaphragm because you have to. So if you have ever done any outside theater, actors who you watch on stage who are just vocally perfect, not necessarily, they're not doing musicals and not that kind of vocally perfect, but I mean vocally perfect. See how I just messed up right there? Vocally perfect, to where their articulation is on point. They're like, you can hear everything, every breath. That matters. It matters in theater. In film, not so much. In film, actually, you have to learn to be quieter most of the time, which for me was hard because I was always told, be loud, be loud, be loud, be loud, be loud. Be loud. Don't be too, and I would be like, I'm being loud. Like, I don't know how much louder you want me to be. You have to center it in your diaphragm and bring it out and just kind of do it, but also be vulnerable and cry and have your voice break all at the same time. It needs to be a whisper, but not so much of a whisper. It needs to be louder than a whisper, but it should be a whisper. Like, that's the kind of direction it'll get in theater. And in film, they'll be like, just talk like a human being. Basically, just speak like a human being. Everything in film is minimized because it is supposed to represent your real life. When someone is looking at you through a screen that you are right there in their home, you need to just be a human being. Period. Yeah, so, I mean, there's so many differences between theater and film. Like I said, it's the actual writing will be different, and the directions will be different. The acting, the space. When you're in, and your scene partners are different. Your scene partner could be a whole camera once for a monologue in a film. You could literally be looking at no one but a camera. I had to do this one. Well, we won't talk about that. But I had to do this one where I didn't speak at all. But it was like a monologue, but I didn't speak at all. Everything had to be shown through my face. And I got a lot of compliments on it. But it was difficult because I don't know. When you're in a room and you're surrounded by your audience, you know exactly if they're feeling what you're feeling. You know what I mean? But when you're with professionals who are being professionals, sometimes, they'll break it and they'll get emotional and they're really watching you. But for the most part, you're just out there, you know what I mean? And you're just trying to vibe it. And you don't really know what it's like until it's over. I remember I finished one thing and it was a very hard moment. And when I finished, I was just like, is that what you want? Is that good? Is that what you wanted? And they laughed because the switch was so different. But literally, I was in my head for that moment, just being the character, expressing everything. And then when it was all over, I was like, wait, did I do that? Is that what you wanted? Because he was trying to explain to me beforehand exactly how I should be feeling. And I was like, okay, yeah. So, and I would ask him questions back. He would tell me. And then at the end, he was like, yeah, that was perfect. He was like, it was amazing he was like, yeah. But I didn't know because I couldn't see it. And I didn't have anyone else there to give me feedback. Even when you're doing a monologue on stage and no one else is around In theater, you have the audience right there to tell you if it's working, so there's just so many differences between theater and film. It's hard to even pinpoint. I don't want this video to be super long. I feel like it's already too long. But I love them both. And I feel like more people should go see theater than are actually going to see theater. I feel like theater has had its moments where it's almost fallen off because people don't understand the power of sitting there and physically being connected with this actor and also the rest of the audience. It's a powerful thing. It's more powerful, honestly, to me, than sitting in your room watching Netflix and feeling things on your own. Now, don't get me wrong, that can be amazing too, but it's just a different kind of feeling that is indescribable. But I love them both, and I think if you want to do both, you just need to basically kind of understand those worlds. I suggest you take classes in acting for film. Even if you are a theater actor and you think it might be an easy transition, nothing's ever that easy. Now, don't get me wrong, it could be easier than being a film actor going to theater classes because, you have to kind of be more in tune with working your whole body and expressing every feeling through your whole body and your face and your voice, and even like this little, like every part of you matters. Whereas like when you're transferring to film, you just really have to get used to not having someone there always to kind of feed you your emotion. You have to do a lot of the work yourself, and also trust in the camera and be comfortable watching yourself back so that you can learn what you should do. Whereas in theater, you're taught not to even look in a mirror. So there's a lot of differences, but I suggest that you take classes. Also know those people in those fields and know kind of what kind of work you like, and then go see that work. Start talking to the people in those fields and basically just network in both if you're interested. So I hope this helped, and love you guys. Wish you all the best of luck in any audition and on this beautiful career path. Bye.